Happy Tuesday and welcome to the Women of Vision show. Happy Cinco de Mayo.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're celebrating being back in the studio.
And yeah, it's our first time back in the studio. I don't know if anyone else used it. I used to call it Cinco de Drinko in college.
Oh.
Just to keep it real. But yeah, happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to the Women of Vision show. I hope everyone's had a great day so far. It's just so exciting. I have a lot of energy, so don't mind me. We're all back here in the studio finally together, so getting to be around each other, it's like
a reunion.
It is.
It's like, you guys, I want to give hugs all around.
Right. It is just a total energy boost. So if you guys haven't tuned into the show as of yet, the Women of Vision show is basically women empowering women and helping to create a culture of collaboration over competition, and just helping support local businesses here. So
that's right.
Yeah. So welcome to the show if you're just joining, and if you've been listening, thank you for tuning in and continuing to support our show. I am Haley Clendenning,
and I get
to look at her today.
I know, and we have Sarah back there, Sarah Chapin, our resident unicorn.
Yep, she'll be helping out here in a second. She's always doing her magic.
Capturing the moments.
Exactly.
Make it more magical.
It is more magical just when she's here. We're sitting down tonight with Keri, Grauel. Yeah. Said it. Woo! Nice. What asked? You know me. I asked. And Keri, you are the owner of Organic Pilates. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm great.
Good.
Doing really well. Yeah.
So nice to meet you.
You too.
I've actually heard a bit about you beforehand, so it's nice to put a face to, to who the studio owner is. And anyways, we all have a lot of fun questions for you.
Okay.
Coming up.
You look beautiful, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I know, right?
You. Yeah, she's glowing.
Totally. It must be the Pilates.
It is the Pilates. Absolutely.
But welcome to the show. And of course, first and foremost, we want to ask, how you and your family are holding up with this whole situation. I'm sick of calling it a pandemic, so I just keep calling it interesting situation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're holding up. I think we just day by day, I think like everybody, I wasn't just affected by me having to close my studio. My fiance also, during the time of the closure, he lost all his business as well. It was just kind of like everything all at once. Yeah, so it's just interesting every day. It's just And then I have a daughter that's a sixth grader, so we're doing the homeschool thing as well.
Okay.
So and she's doing really well with it. Yeah, she goes to UPrep and they had it set up right away, and it was amazing and organized, and the contact has been really good. So that's been smooth, and she's been on a routine with that. So
thank the Lord for that.
Yes,
because that's I feel like been a big challenge. I know it is much easier now, but I have to say the first week and a half of homeschooling for me, it was just kind of like, you want me to do what now?
Right.
I'm gonna try my best, but I hope my kid moves on to fourth grade.
Yeah, that's been the toughest for a lot of parents, I have to say.
Well,
because they've never homeschooled ever in their life.
Right, and learning to work from home on top of that, and kind of like you said, figuring out how to continue kind of running your business without being able to
actually
be running your business.
Yeah, having clients there, yeah.
Well, I have tons of questions for you for sure, but I do want to get a little bit of background. This is our first time that we've been able to sit down and interview you. Yes. So we want to know a little bit more about you too, where you grew up. Tell us a little bit about your journey. How you came here to Reading if you're not from Reading.
Yes, I am not from Reading, but I've been here the longest, so I'm kind of from Reading now. But...
I was going to say, you kind of don't have that Reading vibe.
Yeah.
I didn't think.
Well, I grew up in Southern California. My dad was a California High Patrol, so as he moved up in rank, we moved Northern California, so I actually spent I call them my formative years in,
love that.
in Humboldt County, specifically Southern Humboldt. I actually grew up in Garberville.
Okay, yeah.
So from the time I was 9, and I think I moved away from there my senior year. So I actually came to Reading 1990.
Shoot, so yeah, you're basically
Yes.
Reading girl.
Yeah. So, and then from there, Shasta High School, Shasta College, ran cross country for Shasta College, and
nice.
Yeah, that was super fun. And then met my husband, got married young. I was 21.
Oh yeah.
Yes. had 2 boys that are they're grown-ups now, so they're 24 and 22, and they're
No
amazing.
way, you do
Yeah.
not have children
Yes.
this age.
Yes.
Holy moly.
Yes, and then 10 years later, we had a little girl who's now 12. So
Aww.
yeah, so that's kind of where I was, and then as time went on, let's see, how old were the boys? I think Finley was probably about 2, and unfortunately my marriage didn't work out, so I went through a pretty difficult divorce and just, spent some time recovering from that, but my life was completely different. So
Yeah.
it really, led me to where I am now. But yeah, definitely a journey and a process and all the things that you would expect when you have a big life change. So
Yeah, especially after, how many years were you married? Don't mind me asking.
20 years.
Yeah, so that's a long
Yeah.
time to
Yeah.
talk about a total
Yes.
180 in
Yeah.
life and having to kind of
Yeah.
revamp everything. So have
Yes.
you always been in Pilates, or what did you do?
So, during my other life, I break it up in segments.
Right. Okay. So
But-
after the formative
Yes,
years, where
exactly. I've always done stuff in movement. I've always been a group instructor of some kind. I taught at the Y for years. My first certification was the indoor cycling before spin was even a thing here at all.
yeah.
At the Y, and I think I taught that for I probably was 7 years at the Y, and I started teaching yoga, and then I started teaching mat Pilates
Okay.
there. So I had really only experienced mat Pilates until about 2013 is when I discovered reformer Pilates.
Okay.
So-
Spin is
Yeah.
some other type of beast.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm pretty athletic, and I've always done lots of exercises, and that's one of the ones that I'm like,
It's addictive. It's so fun.
if you can get
So
past that, it
awesome.
kicks your, you know what?
Yes.
I'm like, I get on it, I'm like, okay, I got this. Halfway through, I'm like, I'm dying.
Yeah.
When are we done with spin class?
Right. When is this part over? Yeah. Yeah.
Sure. That's really amazing. So you've always been kind of in
Dabbled. Yeah. Always just had, on the side, did that, raising the, doing the whole thing, the whole wife, family thing. So
So were you into that when you were younger?
I
too?
was.
And
yeah, I was a
Okay.
cheerleader in high school, and then there was a little fitness club in Garberville that I was part of that, wore the whole leg warmers and the whole thing. I'm not saying my age or anything. Well, I guess you could kind of figure it out, but.
no, I couldn't.
Yeah.
By the way, until you said you had adult children, I was like, wait, what?
Yes.
You're no.
Oh,
shouldn't
gosh.
say.
I think that's what movement does. Keeps you young and healthy.
Movement is youth for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, so I don't want to quite start our next question because I feel like it's going to be a little bit, it's going to be in depth, I
It's a
hope,
little long, yes.
Yeah, and we only have, a couple minutes here till our next commercial break, so bad timing on that one. But definitely want to know a little bit more about where your passion for Pilates began when we come back
Yeah.
from our first break. I can't believe we're already there.
I know, goes by so fast.
Sheesh, it's even better. It goes by faster even in person. We got pretty darn good at the Skyping thing, but this is flying by.
Way more fun than Skype.
Oh, is it okay?
Yes. Yeah. Jinx. So we definitely want to mention a few of our amazing sponsors who are continuing to support us through everything and making this show happen. We really appreciate you guys. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, ladies, and remember to support your small businesses, especially during these times. And thank you to Linda Lingo, financial health coach. Linda inspires and guides women into clarity and confidence. Sarah Beck with Legal Shield, and she does Legal Shield insurance as well as identity theft. Jessie Baldwin, certified health coach. Free coaching services. Call Jessie at 530-355-5929. Bargain Books and More, located at 836 Butte Street, open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6 p.m. Hopefully sometime this week soon.
I
I
know.
hope.
I'm hoping.
Yeah, and to Everbloom Skincare at 660A Azalea Avenue. Results-driven facials, natural acne clinic.
Yeah, and like Maurice was saying, you can definitely still support these businesses right now. Mother's Day is coming up this weekend, you guys. So
That
if
is
you haven't
very
already
true.
gotten something
Gift
for your
cards.
mama.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Most
gift
of our
cards.
sponsors are women products and services.
Exactly. We can find something for you. So definitely reach out, get a gift card, do something. We'll have to tell you more about our shirts that we're wearing too. when we
Yeah,
come back
follow
later.
them on Instagram, Facebook, share.
Yeah, absolutely. And we will be back here in just a moment, the Women of Vision show here at KCNR. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Women of Vision show here on KCNR. Just throwing it out there too, if you guys have any questions for our amazing guest, Keri, Grauel, this evening, give us a call. We do take calls and questions. The number is 605-4567. So if anyone has any questions, we got you. But yeah, we're sitting down with the owner of Organic Pilates this evening, Keri. It's been nice talking to you.
Yes, thank you.
Gotta kiss that mic,
Yes.
no?
That's what I said.
Right? A little bit, close enough. But yeah, we were just talking a little bit about your journey to kind of where you're at in present day and everything. And I'm just really curious. I wanted to just jump right back in where we kind of had left off with how your passion for Pilates really started.
Yeah, it was about 2013, and a friend of mine had put a post on Instagram about a studio here in town that she was going to, and I was like, wait, we have, and I'd read about Reform. I mean, I knew about it, but I didn't know that we had anything like that here in town. So I went into the studio and started taking Pilates, and I fell in love with it. It was like nothing I'd ever experienced, and like I said, I've been in a lot of like group, fit. I hate that, like group fitness. Can I think of something else to say? But anyway, that's what it was. So,
right.
But it was just different than anything I'd ever experienced. So, and going to a workout that you did that left you feeling more energy and not like beat down, not like tired,
right.
Even though you worked really hard, but like during it you maybe don't think you're working really hard, and like the next day you're like so sore you can't sit down. I mean, it's just really interesting. Really,
That's jiu-jitsu to me.
Yeah. No, totally. Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, it just I just loved the movement, and it was just like I said, not like nothing I'd ever experienced before. So the studio I was at and taking classes, they one of the ladies that was the owner was going out and having a baby, and they asked me to be like fill in, and so I had to go through like a whole certification, and I did like an in-house and online certification at that time. And then I took over all her evening classes, and that went on for a few months, and that's kind of where that whole teaching Reformer Pilates started. So
I'm very curious. So you had mentioned mat Pilates, because I'm like, I've never tried Pilates. I don't have a lot of knowledge about Pilates, so you'll have to kind of, teach me a little bit of the difference between mat. Well, what is Pilates, and then kind of the difference between the mat and Reformer Pilates.
And really, the mat work is the work on the Reformer, which is like the apparatus is what we call it, and the Reformer is the equipment. And you've probably seen some of my pictures or videos where you see the actual machine. And it's just based on spring tension and pulleys, and there's like basically it looks like a bed, but you lie down on it, you sit on it, you stand on it, you kneel on it, all the different things. It's basically you take the mat work and you integrate that into the Reformer, but you have the tension and you have the body weight, where the floor you're just on the floor without any of the support. So it's just kind of a transgression from the mat work, and it's all meant to go together and kind of complement each other, but it just kind of ups the ante a little bit. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I'm very intrigued. So kind of what would you, like I said, I've never tried it, so I've got a lot of questions, so don't mind me if they are very basic questions. But what is the main difference, do you think, since you have done so many different types of exercise, between maybe yoga and Pilates?
Right, and I get that a lot. I get the question of yoga and Pilates a lot. I mean, one of the biggest things about yoga and Pilates is yoga is thousands of years old. I mean, it's like 5,000 years old probably.
Right.
Pilates is about 100 years old.
Okay.
So it actually was brought to this country in the 1920s by a German man named Joseph Pilates, and the actual how he started was it started at the end of World War I. And he fled Germany, even though he was German, and he helped soldiers rehabilitate in hospitals, and he put pulleys on hospital beds. So the actual carriage that you see, what we call the Reformer, was derived from that, and that's how that came into fruition.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, so when he moved to New York in the 20s, like 1923, I think, he opened a studio in New York. And he actually worked with the New York City Ballet and dancers and Martha Graham, and that's really where he started. And really, at first, he worked with dancers. But then as the work became more mainstream and, got to the general population, not everybody has a dancer's body or that movement in their body, so it had to be modified from there. But that's where it came from. So, and really, the other difference between yoga and Pilates is I feel like just, being a teacher of it, there's like a certain flow of yoga and, you're working a lot of the same muscles, but Pilates is more about like a specific structure and more stabilization and more movement. And you hear like the core a lot and abs, but really it's whole body integration. So it's not like you're just working this and leaving out that. Like in Pilates, basically something has to stabilize so something can mobilize. And every movement you do, and it's all driven by a very controlled breath, a breath pattern, which is like one of the main Pilates principles. And I've kind of I have like a new take on that though as I continue teaching. Although the breath is really important, it's important in all workouts, but when you come in and you learn, how to start moving on the reformer and we start to talk about breath, I found in my early teachings of like when you're a new student, you came in the studio and we talk about breath, what would happen is someone would like think about the breath and instead of doing the movement, they would either do the movement and hold their breath or opposite.
Right, they're breathing really well, but they're not doing
I'm obviously either not a very effective teacher or I'm not explaining this correctly. So what I started doing is I started telling people about breath after they started moving because bodies just want to move. So if I like give you instruction on how to move, like you just want to move. But if you have to stop and think about your breath, what is that going to look like? So I've broken it down a little differently, but it's still very important in the work. But if sometimes people don't get the breath pattern at first, it doesn't mean you're not doing the work correctly. It just means that you're going to get deeper into the work. Like it's a practice, so you'll further your practice as you go. There's always somewhere to go with it. I mean, even when you think you know everything and can do basically all the work, there's still somewhere to go with it. So
that sounds pretty awesome. I'm really terrible at breathing while moving.
Well, we don't breathe. Like in everyday life, like people don't breathe. Yeah. I mean, we don't take
being mindful of it, huh?
Right, and being aware of your breath and like you need to breathe. You need it for your organs. You need to make room for your organs to get your blood flowing, and it's really important to breathe.
Well, and you focus on like, am I doing the movement correctly? Or is my form okay? So it's like your breath is like the last thing you want to think about.
So true. I feel like that's with like every exercise too. Like, don't get me wrong, I am not a runner, people. Not a runner.
Same.
But I do jog, a lot because that's one of the things that I found that works really well for me. But for a lot of years, I think part of the reason I hated jogging and running is because I didn't have the right, mindfulness of how to breathe while I was running. And I'd always get like the side aches and all this stuff. And now that I'm more mindful and I figured out a pattern that works better for me with how I'm breathing, it's not as, it still stinks, but it's not as bad. And I don't get side aches the whole time, you know what I mean? So it's interesting that it seems like that would be something that you have to be mindful of in every exercise is figuring out the breath pattern that does work best for you and not holding your breath. Because I did that a lot in yoga too. Yeah. When I've done yoga, I'm like, oh wait, breathe. You're supposed to breathe here.
Well, you're thinking about the movement, and like you said, you want to get the form right or whatever it is, and then suddenly you realize, wait, I haven't even taken a breath. I'm like, why am I holding my breath?
So strange.
Sometimes I just say, you need to breathe.
Right?
Yeah.
You're struggling. Breathe.
So people do people sweat? Like, I know like, is it like a form of cardio? I mean, I'm just like you.
So it can be. I mean, we have different workouts. Like tomorrow, like the next 2 days, I'm going to teach. It's called jump board, and basically what it is there's a board on the end of the reformer. I know all my clients are yay. So round of applause. They were like begging for it during the time we were gone. So, but you can definitely work up a sweat. But it's basically you're jumping, but you're lying down on the reformer. So you're not getting the same impact on your joints. You could definitely break a sweat, but I would say for the majority of the workouts, most of my 6 a.m. clients, they are leaving my class and going getting changed and going to work, and they don't take they come ready. I mean, you're gonna get warm. It's like a different kind of heat though, like a very deep, suddenly you're sweating, but you didn't think you were gonna break a sweat kind of thing. So but you could definitely walk back into your everyday life after a workout, jump board maybe. Yeah.
Okay, because that's not a typical, I have to say. I usually after my workout, I'm like, you can't go anywhere unless it's, somewhere you don't mind being seen like that, because I sweat a lot. So that's I'm very intrigued. I've got so many more questions when we come back.
Yeah, and I'm sure people are like, what, your clients are coming back? What's happening?
I know. I have a few more Pilates questions, but yeah, we have a lot to
Yes.
talk about, that's for sure. So we won't waste too much time on that. But we are coming into our next quick little commercial break. So definitely want to mention a few more of our amazing sponsors. You ladies rock.
Yes, ladies, thank you so much. Thank you, Deborah Mitchell with Oils for Young and Healthy Living. Michelle Lane Coaching, located in Chico, California. Michelle is a transformational facilitator of Elevate workshops and retreats for women, but she does work with women nationwide. And to Lit From Within, the ladies at 2449 Athens Avenue. They do organic spray tanning, infrared sauna, light therapy, dance studio, all the works. Bev Gray with Cervita, the most nutritious drink in the world. All fired up, located at 1796 Churn Creek Road. Pottery painting, life casting, board art, and I think she has like some curbside pickup right now too.
Did she? Okay.
Yeah, and she has like Mother's Day specials. I think most of these ladies have Mother's Day specials.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. So like Maurice was saying,
Hit 'em
reach
up.
out, look them up, you guys, to get their information and help support, and of course get something awesome for mom for Mother's Day or yourself. Treat yourself. So anyways, we'll be back here shortly on the Women of Vision show here at KCNR. Welcome back everybody to the Women of Vision show here on KCNR. And we are sitting down this evening talking with Keri Grauel from Organic Pilates.
Hello.
yay!
We're just so excited to be back in the studio. Sarah, Maurice, Keri,
Yeah.
all the girls.
That's why I'm all
seeing
giddy.
people.
I'm all giddy today and distracted.
Me too. I feel like I'm talking a million miles a minute. I'm just like, like I've been cooped up for too long, people.
Or it could be the caffeine. I don't know.
Maybe for you. I don't know what this is. Then it's all natural. But we were just sitting down talking a little bit about Pilates, getting to understand a bit more about Pilates because I've never done it. So that was actually one of my next questions. Is, you know, there's probably a lot of misconceptions about who can do Pilates,
Mhm.
or I mean, do you have people that ask that a lot? Like, am I in shape to do Pilates? What? I
Yeah.
mean, can anyone do Pilates?
Yeah, I get that question all the time. And what I tell people is if you have a body and you can move, you can do Pilates. It's that basic.
Right.
I mean, we all have like our limitations, you know, we come in with injuries or whatever that is, but truly with the modifications, you know, within a class or whatever I'm teaching, anybody can come in and do Pilates. And I have clients, I want to say my youngest client right now is like 18, and then my eldest client I think is 76. And then I
Yes.
have everything in between.
Wow.
So a really wide range. And then in any given class, I have 6 reformers. I have to be able to teach all levels to like 6 different bodies in front of me.
Right.
So there's modifications, you know, so you're doing the same work, but maybe it looks a little different, you know, for each body. But really anyone can do Pilates. Yeah.
That's
definitely.
awesome. Well, I was thinking about it when you were talking a little bit about the history.
Mhm.
You were saying that the originator of it was working with war
Injured
veterans.
soldiers, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if that's a
Wounded
way,
soldiers.
think about that, people. You have no
Yeah.
excuse to go. You have
Yes.
to try
It's
this.
true. I have I have a friend who's like a little overweight, but she has a thyroid problem, and she's also had injuries in the
Mhm.
past, and that's her only main workout is Pilates.
Nice.
So I'm like, oh, how does that happen?
Yeah.
So it just seems like it's definitely a workout that anyone could do.
Mhm.
And like you were saying too, it's low. It seems very low impact on your
It is,
joints.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we're gonna have to get out and do Pilates.
I think so.
guys.
Yes.
I'm excited.
Yes.
Well, why not? I mean, especially, yeah, anyone can do it.
Yes.
So get out there. So when did you open your own studio?
I opened last July 15th of
Oh, really?
2019. So
Oh.
still a few months old.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's exciting. Are you
Yes.
gonna do anything fun for like your
Yes.
anniversary?
I'm gonna invite everybody.
Right?
I'm gonna have more than 10 people.
Heck,
I love that.
So I'm gonna have lots of beverages.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
We'll bring some too.
Yes.
Will make me a mocktail.
Yes.
So what drove your choice to open your own studio?
Well, prior to that, I was a director for another studio that I had opened with a friend, and I was running all the classes, and ultimately she had to step out, so I just kept running the studio, and my plan was for it to be mine, and I had intentions of buying it. There was an investor, And at the end of the day, after almost 3 years, the investor didn't want to sell it to me. So I, from the moment, and I want to say it was like May of last year. Yeah, it was the beginning of May, and I want to say it might be this date that I got my business license, and I decided that organic Pilates was born, and that nobody was going to stop me from doing what I wanted to do, and that I was going to open my own studio. So I, at the end of that month, walked away from that, and I spent the next 7 weeks making that space where I'm at now on Locust Street, my space. So. Yeah,
that's amazing really that cool. It's actually so close to the actual, like, that
yeah.
It might be the same
right.
date. That's kind of
I know, I was just thinking about that. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, it is. Yeah. So.
That's amazing. I mean, so that's obviously can't be an easy task.
Not at
Opening
all.
your own business.
It wasn't, and if I'm just being really transparent, walking away from what I had done for 3 years and kind of carried something for other people, it felt it didn't feel very good, but
yeah.
I just, the moment everything kind of came down, I just decided I was not going to waste my energy on, trying to figure that out. I was going to pour it all into organic Pilates, and so it was just positive, and it just flew, and I didn't have any, like, glitches along the way. I mean, I'm not going to say it wasn't, like, scary, or I wasn't, like, trying to do all these things, but it just, everything fell into place exactly how it was supposed to. So, and like I said, it was really a mindset, and a very, like, I was very focused on what needed to happen, and there was no way it wasn't going to happen. That's
right.
where I was.
Yeah.
So.
You made that decision.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
That's it. It's happening.
Exactly.
Regardless of what people are going to say.
Yeah.
So organic Pilates, like, what's the thought process? Or like, yeah.
So for me, I'm a little bit obsessed with little things organic. My boys actually make fun of me, but they might be getting better now. I think both of their girlfriends love everything organic, but
right.
anyway,
like
they're laughing at me.
Rocks.
Yeah, they're laughing at mom. For me, I just felt like, because that was something that was like living organically, living natural, toxin free. I feel like movement is organic, and what I mean by that, like, if you look at kids and how they move, and like sports and like whatever they're doing, they don't actually stop and think about how they're moving. They just move. Mm-hmm. They're not out of alignment. They haven't spent a lot of time like in these weird positions, like over time as adults that we get. Yeah. So for me, movement is organic, and it just seemed like that was my baby, organic Pilates. So that's how I came up with it. Yeah.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, very cool.
That's neat that it just kind of flows. It's funny. I feel like I talk about my mom in like almost every interview that we have, because they give you so much knowledge, right, throughout the years. But that's something that my mom has always like told me too. If it flows, you know what I mean, then it's definitely meant to be. If you have these hurdles and like a ton of roadblocks sometimes, then maybe not. So that's interesting that you mentioned that it just kind of flowed so simply. I mean, there obviously has to be some kind of, did you have any, what would you say your biggest struggle or roadblock that you experienced?
Well, really just coming up with the money to do the whole thing, because I, prior to a month before, me leaving where I was at, I didn't have that as a thought process, so I wasn't like making these plans and trying to go somewhere with that.
So a little background noise there. So I was like, oh God, I'm hearing my voice.
Yeah.
No.
And I just from the experiences that I had with other people in the field in this town, I just decided it wasn't. I wasn't going to look for investments. I wasn't going to borrow any money. It was going to be my money, and that's where it was going to come from. So I used savings, a small amount of savings that I had, and I pre-sold some memberships.
Okay.
I pre-sold some memberships.
That's a great idea.
I had to be very careful though, because I only had like a certain like base clientele. So I knew for X amount of clients, so that means for a year you're not going to be getting any monthly income for these amount of people.
Right.
And really when it came down to it, it worked out. It worked out pretty good. It worked out pretty good. But like probably about 3 weeks before I was going to open, I could really only afford to buy 3 reformers. And I'm talking cash, and I'd pay for my lease, and I'd pay for all my furnishings and everything else that had happened. And then right at the last minute, I had something else come through, and I was able to get 4 reformers. And then after a month of being open, I needed a 5th reformer. And then right before the shutdown happened, I had just bought a 6th reformer, because all my classes again were full.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So really, getting to this point and not carrying any debt was like a really big deal.
I was just gonna say
really impressive.
It's extremely impressive because that's not cheap starting a business.
No, and the equipment isn't cheap. And at first, I couldn't even afford some of the props. So, you have the apparatus, the reformer, but then you have all these things that go with it. The jump board is, X amount of dollars, and then there's a box that goes on it and all these things. And I just bought exactly what I could afford. So I think I had like my reformers, some foam rollers, and like a box, and that's all I had at first. And I didn't have like it sounds silly, but when you come in the studio, you'll see I'm like, I have all these things that I needed. But just over time, as I could afford it, I bought props. But for me at first, when I first started teaching in the new studio, I had always taught with a lot of props, and I was kind of like mentored that way, throw this in, throw that in, because it looks like the same, but it's different, and they'll think it's different. But I really had to teach for several weeks with no props, so it challenged me in a way, but I also loved it because it forced me, and I had to learn more.
You have
that
to
way.
grow kind of slowly too. So that's actually a very smart approach.
Yeah, that's really amazing. I mean, gosh, I can't believe it's not even hard, like barely a year old though too. That's another
I feel
thing.
like I've been hearing about you for a while now.
Yes.
Right? I love it. So anyways, we'll definitely have to
Kudos.
congratulations
Thank you.
on
Yeah,
that
thank
for
you.
sure. And then we want to talk a little bit more too when we come back, you guys, from our next break, about the fact that she is open for business.
yeah.
Woo-hoo. So anyways,
Yes.
little nugget, tune back into us after our next break. I do want to mention too, really quick for Marie, so we don't forget again, we do have Stronger Together t-shirts, you guys, that are helping support some of our local businesses that you put together, and you guys can purchase these. And how many businesses are we talking
There's
here?
about 12 businesses involved.
Yeah, and all the money for the shirts, I believe, goes back to
100%.
the businesses. So, get on the Women of Vision website, you guys, and check it out. Buy your shirt, $20, right?
Yep.
That's it. That's nothing to help support these businesses.
Yeah, and we have them at Rice Brothers right now. We'll have an Orchard Nutrition, I think, starting tomorrow. Northern Roots and Brewcraft Coffee.
Yeah, so
And they're all open.
you can go pick up some shirts too. But definitely want to mention a few more of our sponsors really quickly before we hit our next break.
Yes, thank you, Dana Grant, Master Intuitive Life Coach, Reliefs Trading, 100% USDA certified organic hemp, Sarah Marie Spectrum, Capturing the Magic in Life, Max Malari with World Financial Group, and Bohemian Salon and Spa, 6961 Dana Drive, Suite 130.
Yay!
She has Mother's Day special too.
I know.
A lot of good stuff.
I'm gonna get one for my mom.
Yeah.
She loves the facials. Oh my gosh, she's so funny. She's like, you think that Allie will sneak me?
I want
in?"
some candles from you, by the
Sure,
way.
the candles, yes,
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh yes. I'll have to shoot. You guys are gonna have to message me. This girl's been busy. So, anyways, we'll be right back with the Women of Vision show here on KCNR. Welcome back to the Women of Vision show here on KCNR. I am Haley Clendenning, and I'm here with my girls, Sarah, our resident
Hello.
unicorn, and of course Maurice Brown. Whoop, whoop. And we are talking with Keri Grauel about her amazing studio, Organic Pilates, that is creeping up on being open for a year now. Yes.
In July. Yeah.
And actually, I mean, congratulations and cheers to you, because you just reopened Monday,
Yes, I
right?
did.
Yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday. Yeah.
Woohoo!
Yes.
I'm so excited
did.
for you.
I'm excited for
And I'm so proud of you.
Thank
Like-
you.
Well, absolutely, because
The courage.
absolutely, I could imagine that there's, well, to be really honest, there might be a little bit of pushback from other people and everything about, reopening too soon. But you know what? This is life.
Yeah.
This is business as usual. It's
Shasta
kind of,
County.
yeah. I mean, let's real talk for a minute, you guys. There hasn't been any new cases of anything in, I believe, 7 days a week now, or
Mhm.
maybe even over that. My husband works for Shasta Community Health Center, so I've got like the day by day play. And I'm just, like Marie said, I'm really proud of you too for, opening and
Thank you.
sharing your space with people. Obviously, people can continue to, make their choices if it's not their
Absolutely, yeah.
time to come be a part of that. But yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you. No, thank you.
Yeah,
Because I'm like, I'm going to be coming to do Pilates here, like ASAP. So tell us a little bit about the differences, I guess, now that you're going to be experiencing in the studio. What are
Sure.
you doing kind of precautionary wise to to ease some people's minds so
Yeah.
that maybe they can realize they can come back into the studio.
Right. I think within my community and within my people that were already coming, there was never a question about that. When I went back in, because I wanted everyone to feel, like you said, safe.
Right.
I moved all the reformers 6 feet apart, and luckily I had the space to do that. Now it took up the other half of my studio where we had bar classes, so I'm not going to be able to currently offer bar classes, but I will in the future. So I moved all the reformers 6 feet apart. In my cubbies where people put their items, I have like extra like sanitation things for everyone. But really, for me, I already had really good practices in place. We already cleaned off all the equipment. People already cleaned off their mats, everything they touched before they left the studio after every class. So it wasn't just at the end of the day that I clean, it's after every single class. So I was really confident. I didn't have any, and nobody's questioned me at all about the practices. So, but if someone were to come in and want to see what I'm doing, they could very clearly see that I'm, following along the protocol.
Yeah. What was your thought process when you decided to open?
My thought process was I
love it. She wants to say. Yes.
My thought process was getting to the last week of April, and I'm not a news watcher. I don't.
Amen.
You are what you watch and you see, and you are what you surround yourself with. So I don't. But during this time, I started watching the governors and what he was saying about each day and the steps, and seeing the last week of April that he had no plans at all to reopen anything. I just thought that's just not an option for me or my clients or really this community. Like, we need to start opening up, and people need to start making choices for themselves.
Right.
I mean, after, we realized we followed suit, we did all the things, and then after we realized maybe the numbers aren't looking like what they thought they were, maybe it's time that we start, coming back to life. And, some of these businesses are not going to be able to come back to life.
Yeah,
right.
So for me, my thought process too is the longer I'm away, the longer you're away, the longer you're dark,
you
go away. Right. And I worked way too hard to get here, and my business is still new, and I thought there's no way in this world that I'm going away. So that was really my thing. And I'd had clients, during the time that reach out to me, excuse me, like, can we do privates? Can we do this? Can we do that? And I'm like, I don't feel comfortable with that yet.
Right.
And really, I had made a trip to a big box store. I'm not going to say what big box store, but I hadn't really been out. But I went to this big box store, and I saw people shopping for bathing suits and shopping for home goods and shopping for all these things. I was there for toilet paper. Just so I said,
that's why you had to go.
That's right. I had actually ordered online and drove up to pick up my order and forgot something and went in. And when I saw this and I saw all these people, and I thought, what in the world am I doing, and why am I following along with this? I'm not going to do this. I don't believe in. Anyway, so that's where I was, and that's where I decided. And so I immediately started reaching out to all my clients and told them we're back open as of the first week in May.
So what was the response? Was it more support, some negativity?
It was from my circle itself. I didn't have any negativity at all.
Nice.
And I only have 2 clients out of everyone that was coming before. One person is actually out of the area. Another person works in a field that they're a little bit more at risk, and so they don't feel comfortable for that. But out of everyone else has come back, and I've even just since I put out my post, I have like 3 new clients. So
nice.
Yeah. So,
congratulations.
Thank you.
Because it is much needed. I mean, and I'm not trying to obviously offend anyone or anything here, but like, turn off the news.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just I don't know. That's all I'm going to say on that one.
At least I watch it like once a month. Don't watch it every day.
Be informed.
Depressing at that point.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything productive.
And I'm so with you though, because it is funny, because there's been a couple of times obviously too that you go out for your essential items or go out to do your stuff, and it's kind of business as usual. It feels like almost right now, you know what I mean? People are
people
out
are
there.
carrying on shopping, remodeling their homes
Home
and their
Depot's
yards, and
lines are huge.
Yeah. So, and I'm like, who deemed movement studios of any kind non-essential?
Yeah.
Why, how is that a thing? I don't understand. does the governor, does he not work out? Does he not understand?
Right.
Do these people not move
Well, it just
for their
comes-
mental health?
Yeah.
I mean, and look at all the amazing studios we have in town. Balance Yoga, True
Yeah.
Ride, In Living Waters, Lit From Within. I mean,
Mhm.
all these studios, the Rice Brothers, all the CrossFit gyms. I mean, we could have all collectively came in with good practices and said what we were doing and maybe solicited and said, like, we're not this entity, we're much smaller, we're like boutique fitness.
Yeah,
Right.
I was about to say that your place is
And I
already
feel
so intimate.
feel terrible for all the large gyms. You know, I feel
Right.
awful for them, but I feel like my studio and these smaller studios are in a completely different category. Unfortunately, we're lumped in with that.
Right.
So, and it's, yeah.
Well, and it all really comes down to personal choice too. If you want,
Absolutely.
if you still want to shelter in place and do your thing, that is fantastic.
Yeah.
Do your thing. You know what I mean? But definitely don't stop people who are ready to make a different choice for themselves
Right.
from making that decision.
Exactly.
So we definitely need to figure out where is your studio located? We haven't even asked you that yet.
I'm actually at 169 Locust Street. I'm right next to Trends Vintage. I'm in actually Jana Parker's old studio, old space. And she left it with amazing energy. So when I came in, I was like, the energy's already there. So it's a beautiful space.
It is.
Just some paint and some new flooring, and I was good to go. So
That's
yeah.
super exciting.
Yeah,
I
and
do
it's-
love that space.
yeah, it's a great location. You know, Orchard Nutrition is right there, and it's very convenient. It's very central. Like my clients that come from the east side of town and west, there's always like an east-west thing.
Right.
You guys can meet here, so I know it's not quite in the middle, but I didn't go all the way to the west. I'm not all the way on the east, so it's good for
Perfect.
everyone.
Perfect
Yes.
for me. It's close to
Yeah.
And also, we didn't really touch yet. We want to make sure to where to find you on your website. But what
Yeah.
other, exercises or what else do you offer besides Pilates typically in your
So I
studio?
have bar classes too that
Okay.
I offer. Yeah, but like I said, right now I'm not able to open that portion just because I moved all my reformers into my bar space. So
Right.
it'll happen though when I move everything back.
That's
after
exciting.
some
And do you do drop-ins? Do you?
I do drop-ins, yeah.
Okay.
I actually do, as long as you've been on a reformer before. So anyone who comes in who's never been on a reformer needs a private, and I actually have a new student special. So what it is, it's a one private with me, and then you get to come to 2 group classes.
Okay.
After the first private, if I don't feel like you're ready to move along with the group, then we'll just do another private, and then you go from there. But it's $99,
Okay.
and it's, but my feeling on that was, show you the basics, and then really people like to see what the group environment is, because there's a little bit of intimidation when you come in and you see the equipment, and then you're thinking, oh my gosh, there's all these other people and they've been doing Pilates for X amount of time. Well, some of them have, but some of them just started, a month ago.
Right.
And I don't ever want people to feel intimidated, and what I tell everybody is actually no one cares. Like, I literally
Yeah.
mean, like, whatever you're doing on your reformer, like, they're actually so focused on themselves,
Yeah.
and they're breathing
I was
and
just
they're
gonna say, if they're watching you, then
no one
they're-
cares. Yeah, but but when you come into something new,
Yeah.
there's that intimidation, and it doesn't have to be that way. So
It's kind of like my philosophy too in life. I feel it's like
yeah,
everybody cares about themselves so much.
right.
They're not
You're
paying
not that
attention
big.
to you.
I always think like I'm not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
So just get over it.
I love it. And I'm assuming that you do also do like package deals or,
Mhm.
as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know because I was kind of curious too about like, if you
Yeah, I have like
used
a
the equipment
monthly.
before.
Yeah, I have a monthly 2 times a week series, and then I have people on punch cards because they have to float around in their classes. But my most popular package is the 2 times a week, and so you pick your class time, and then for a month your reformer is reserved for you during that class. So
Oh,
yeah.
that's good to know
Yes.
too that you don't have to be there like 10 minutes early to make sure you get a machine or anything.
Right.
That's huge. And what's your website, or is there some other
It's-
information that we can look
Your
My
social.
up?
website's it's all just Organic Pilates Reading. It's all under that.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Fantastic.
that.
So you guys
Pretty
can
easy
check
to
it out.
find,
Yeah.
yes.
If you have any, questions, check out her stuff online and her social media. Otherwise, just get your booties down there and
Yeah,
go
that's
try a
right.
class.
Yeah.
So, anyways, thank you so much for sitting
Yeah.
down with us.
Thank you.
What you got, Maurice?
Nothing. I was just gonna remind the ladies, May 13, we have a Zoom for transitioning and accepting our new world.
Oh, yeah.
With Miss Dana Grant, of course. And it's at 6:15. And check out the Facebook or the Eventbrite. Women of Vision movement.
God, I'm such a nerd. It just made me think of The Little Mermaid.
It's a PJ party.
What if we don't want to go to the whole new world?
Right?
I'm gonna go to the normal.
Right? I'm just going to slip back into
That's
the
where I'm
huge.
going. I'm doing that, yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much for
Thank you
sitting
guys
down
so
with
much.
us tonight.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
And ladies, it's been so wonderful just being back with you girls. And
Yes. Yeah.
anyways, I hope everyone has a wonderful Tuesday. Go get your tacos. Have a good Cinco de Mayo. And I hope everyone has a great night. Thanks for tuning in.
We are Women of Vision.